So speaking of wanting to play, Drew wants to play, and quite frankly, Drew's got to play. Now, listen, there's been some moments with Taysom Hill where, he's thrown a few touchdowns lately. There's been some guys wide open. We've talked about that. Certainly makes plays with his wheels. He's a superb athlete. Tons of respect. But the offensive drop-off with Brees versus Taysom is palpable.
Yeah.
Like 15 or 16 fewer points, nearly 200 yards a game fewer. You have to listen, this is the last year Drew Brees is playing. You got to go. He's got to play.
Yeah. Look, there were some games in the interim when Drew was hurt where the Saints got to find out what Taysom Hill is all about and whether or not he's actually going to be that guy for the future. I don't want to say he failed it. I don't think he highly impressed enough to say, you're going to be our guy for the future as soon as Drew Brees retires, which why Jameis Winston, still has that huge opportunity whenever Drew decides to hang it up. But as we surmised yesterday, BT, and it was really quite obvious, Drew Brees, if he's any way healthy and not in danger of re-injuring or hurting himself, had to play. Now, ribs are very tricky, BT. You've asked me before if I've had them. I've had rib cartilage. I haven't had ribs, but it's kind of the same with any broken bone. Like when I broke my forearm, it's pain. It just hurts like hell. And if you can deal with the pain, then I think that you can play and be effective. And I remember having to deal with the pain, and it sucks. But like real quickly, the adrenaline kicks to a level that you don't necessarily mind it. Like you feel it, but you don't necessarily mind it. So the only issue is Drew going to be able to handle the pain? And knowing how tough Drew Brees is, that answer was easily yes, which meant he's got to play.
Can it get worse in terms of the ribs? Like if he takes a direct pop?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it can, but he'll be protected. He'll have probably an extra rib protection on, or they have these like little thin flak jackets now they're carbon graphite, so there won't be a compression injury. He'll likely wear rib protectors. I don't know if he always has worn them, but he certainly will now. So yeah, it can get worse, but I think they're going to protect him enough that it won't.
You think he changes his mind and comes back next season? I mean, TV booth's always going to be there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Really?
I really wouldn't be surprised. He is one of those guys who just feels like he doesn't want to give it up, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. If he says, you know what, I still can do this. I still want to do this, and especially if they don't win. You know what I mean? If they don't get deep into the postseason or get to the Super Bowl, I can certainly see him saying, "I want to try again."
See, and whatever he wants is what he's going to do, and certainly wish the best for one of the really good guys in the sport. But I look at it, I say, all right. First of all, I don't think he's coming back next year. But if he does, then I don't think I don't really even think they're going to win this year.
Yeah.
So I certainly wouldn't think they're going to win next year, because while you can make some other upgrades, listen, there's erosion. There's deterioration.
Yeah, that happens
with
for
Drew.
anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. And it's now 2 years in a row where he has not been able to play every game. Last year, missed 5 games with Teddy, 4.5 roughly. And then this year, the game that he got hurt, Taysom came in the 3 games after that. So you're talking about a month here, 5-6 weeks there. And it really contradicts his Iron Man status for nearly 20 years. But I just can't imagine whether it's, round 1 or conference championship or Super, whatever, if they lose and he decides to come back to try to rectify that wrong, that he will then be able to elevate them next year. Like, I think at that point, you're chasing your tail.
Yeah, probably.
I wouldn't begrudge you for trying.
Probably, but I think he's the kind of player that's going to try. Just like this weekend, he's going to try to play, and I think he'll be fine because he gets the ball out quickly. He knows exactly what defenses are trying to do. He's not going to hang in and try to take shot. He's going to dump it off to Alvin Kamara and allow him to be his winner, until he finds those opportunities downfield. But they need him, man. This offense it's too anemic with what's going on in the NFC and with the necessity to win in order to keep pace at the top of the NFC, because they need the bye week. Everybody needs the bye week, but they're in striking distance of it. You can't just concede it because you want to have Drew Brees rest a week. I mean, it's football, man. It's painful. It hurts. Get out and play. I'm serious. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I don't, but I do. I definitely don't from a profession, but I do.
Yeah.
Let me flip this to you real quick. I'll give you the final word. I have no idea how you're going to answer this. I like to, every once in a while, all things considered even. So it's not skewed by a coach that might influence or an organization that's more savvy and has more acumen in terms of the draft, like the Ravens and some others that have been very good at this. All things considered even, Tom Brady or Drew Brees? And why?
To me, it's Tom, because Tom has just been able to win in so many different ways. Whether it's this, modified West Coast offense that they've been running for, the last 5 or 6 years, or it was that wide open offense from 2007 to 2011 when he was throwing 50 touchdowns a season. Tom Brady is just versatile.
Okay.
Whereas Drew he's kind of been one trick. Now, the last couple of years, it's actually started to turn more, it doesn't have to be about me type of Drew Brees, which is honestly why they've been winning more, because it hasn't been solely on Drew Brees. But I'd say Tom Brady.
Yeah, those years where it was still on them, they had, I think it was back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons.
Right. There was a lot of them where it's just underachieving. It's like you're throwing for 5,000, 5,200 yards and 39, 40-something touchdowns, and you win 8 games. I mean, it just doesn't reconcile. Well,
right? It's tough losing 43-40. A lot of that was on the defense.
That's right, but still.
I hear you. Much more balanced, much more of a threat for sure. I thought you'd say Brady, but I wasn't 100% sure that you would. Interesting. All right, let's get the update here from CeeLo. Coming up, inbounds, out of bounds. By the way, hour 2, we'll do a little baseball. Buddy CC Sabathi's going to stop by. Sharp Tierney, Teague's doing the Big Ten Championship tomorrow. We'll do all. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.